This is a fun question to ask. NWGA Vol wants to know, based on physical traits, does a wide receiver trio of Squirrel White, Dante Thornton, and Brew McCoy have the potential to be the best wide receiver group yet? Cedric Tillman, Jalen Hyatt, Brew McCoy, they would have been hard to beat, but we rarely saw that group because of the injury. Of course, the combination of White, Thornton, and Brew, that can happen. That's not the set starting trio. I mean, Keaton's going to be in there somewhere, right? But as far as wide receivers, Brent, does this maybe this trio or this top four have the the potential to be the best one that Heupel's had here at Tennessee?
Well, here comes my wet blanket. Let me see Dante Thornton first. I mean, I haven't seen enough to know. I mean, physically, what little bit he did at Oregon, right? The speed, the deep ball, those things, jumped out, stands out. You talk to anybody on campus, he's athletically got all kinds of gifts and those types of things. So, I just want to see it translate in onto the field. If you're going to go that route, can he win press man coverage on the outside? Because at the slot, he's going to get a free release. Jalen Hyatt was a much better slot player than he was outside receiver because Jalen Hyatt got free releases in the slot, and didn't have to physically win a lot of man coverage out there, bump and run type stuff. So, how does Dante Thornton handle that? Rob, I love Squirrel White. Can Squirrel White physically do it for 12 games at 170 pounds across the middle of the football field? And look, only time's going to tell. I'm not saying he can't. I just wonder if physically he can do that game in and game out because he's not very big.
Well, that's fair. That is a great question, but I would, and the guy mentioned this in his question, but if Tillman's healthy, which he was not, and him and Hyatt, we never saw them, hitting on all cylinders together on the field. But I would take the three from last year, but you have to throw in the caveat: is Cedric healthy? And if he is, then I would have to go with that group.
Hey, 18 targets. 13 targets playing on one side of the field at Pittsburgh this year.
That's what I was about to say. Pitt was the only time I think.
The only game, just one game.
You really had a chance to see that.
Yeah.
And listen, go ahead, Rob.
I'm just saying, dropped a touchdown pass that he never drops.
Yeah.
In that game, extremely uncharacteristic, or his numbers would have been even bigger.
I want to see what Brew McCoy looks like in year 2 in this system too. I think there were times where you kind of wondered in games like, where's Brew? Like they've kind of gotten away from Brew McCoy. It was, for whatever reason, didn't seem like – there were stretches where you just felt like, hey, big play here, they can go to Brew McCoy. But it was Jalen Hyatt because Jalen Hyatt was open. I think Brew McCoy is set to have a big year. I'll be surprised if Brew McCoy does not have a really big year for Tennessee. Year 2 in the system, I think he's going to be healthier. I know he had the elbow deal, but the hip's going to be better. I think he's a guy who can really take off in year 2 in the system. And by game 5 or 6, to answer his question, we may have a different answer. It may be, they may be rocking and rolling. But again, part of that's your quarterback play. Can the quarterback get him the ball? Because we know this, Josh Heupel is going to get some people open. It doesn't matter what the nameplate says on the back of the jersey. Somebody's going to be open in the passing game in Josh Heupel's system. I totally believe that. I don't think anybody's solved that mystery yet.